order, and if we could all please be attentive. Well, Council Member Brian McCullough leads us in the pledge.
All right. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much, Mr. McCullough, appreciated. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the April 15th, 2020 study session of Livonia City Council. This meeting sets the agenda for the 1,895th regular meeting, which is a voting meeting that will take place on Monday, April 27th, 2020. We have all members of the council with us tonight via Zoom. And I believe that Council Member Toy has had some PC difficulties, so she is joining us by voice, but is participating in the meeting. The announcements that I have to make are similar to the ones that I made in the regular meeting, which started at 7 o'clock this evening. And that is to thank the extraordinary team of the City of Livonia, the leadership team, the employees, my council colleagues, also my other elected colleagues, Linda Scheel, our treasurer, Susan Nash, our clerk, and also when I went through thank yous in the last meeting, I was remiss in also thanking our mayor, Mayor Maureen Brosnan, for her excellent leadership during this very challenging time. And now we've got one virtual meeting under our belt, so I'm hoping that this one might go a little bit more smoothly, but everyone's making the best of this. And if you were not present in the last meeting, the virtual meetings are permitted under the governor's executive order, and we are in compliance with her orders regarding the conditions under which you can have a virtual meeting. Livonia is working with a skeleton staff in some of our essential services departments, and everyone who's working, we are fully complying with the Wayne County Health Department's requirements that employees be screened for COVID-19 symptoms and have their make sure that they are without a fever via infrared thermometers. So with that, I will go to my council colleagues if anyone has any announcements that he or she would like to make. All right, seeing none, we'll continue ahead with the meeting. Tonight's meeting is a study meeting. There are no votes taken. The council members will, however, offer either one resolution or a combination of resolutions for each item. The resolutions offered may include an approving, denying, or referring an item to a committee or city department for its report and recommendation. There are some items that will simply, a resolution of no further action may also be offered. And there are some items that will simply be received and filed for the information of the City Council. Please note that all of the items that are on tonight's agenda will move on to the regular meeting of Monday, April 27th, 2020, where they will officially be voted on. If you would like to participate in any of the agenda items that are taken up this evening, instead of approaching the podium, please use your Zoom control panel to raise your hand, and you will be recognized when the item is called. And we would ask that you give your name and if you want to, your address. And please try to speak clearly. And again, sharing your name with the council will let us know and the other participants on the phone who is speaking to them. So with that, we'll go to audience communication. If anyone from the audience would like to address the council on any item that is not on this evening's agenda, now is an opportunity to do so. And I think I just saw a hand up from our former mayor, Jack Engebretson. So I'm going to recognize Mayor Engebretson to address the council. Good evening, Mayor Engebretson. Okay, I'm trying to unmute. Mayor. Casey, are you able to I apologize. Okay,
Madam President, how's that working?
that's great. We were able to unmute you, Mayor. Thanks for joining us this evening.
Madam President, I just want to congratulate you, your council colleagues, and the department heads on conducting this meeting in these unusual times using this technology. And I just wanted to be part of a historic meeting. Nothing like this has ever happened in the city of Livonia in many, many decades that I've lived here. And I just want to tell you that I think each of you did a really good job on the regular meeting. And I wish you well for the rest of the evening and in all the days ahead. And thank you for indulging me a comment or two. And I yield the floor back.
Thank you so much, Mayor Engelbretson. Thank you for your continued interest and participation in the city. You were always a mayor who was a leader in terms of being interested and looking for ways to use technology. And you continue to be very interested and engaged in technology. And so I think it's delightful and appropriate that you're with us for this meeting. But thank you for your comments. They're appreciated. And please give our best to our former First Lady, Mrs. Sini Engelbretson. And thank you again. All right. Would anyone else from the audience like to address the council? All right, seeing none, we'll move ahead then with our agenda, beginning, of course, with our new business. Item number 1 is a reappointment of Elizabeth MCCUE to the Plymouth Road Development Authority. This comes to us from the Office of the Mayor for a 4-year term, which would expire on May 16, 2024. Do we have anyone from the mayor's office with us this evening?
Madam President,
Yes.
not seeing anyone from the mayor's office, I'd be happy to offer a few comments regarding Ms. MCCUE and her involvement with the Plymouth Road Development Authority.
And I'm, Mr. Chairman, excuse me, I think I should have made it clear this was a reappointment. So
This is a reappointment, correct?
Yeah, reappointment. I think I
just wanted to lend my support towards her reappointment, which has been supported by the mayor. Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
Madam Chair, I think Ms. MCCUE has been doing an excellent job, and I am happy to offer the resolution to reappoint her.
All right. Would you like that on the consent agenda?
Yes, please, if there's no objection.
All right, we will go ahead and put that on the consent agenda. All right, moving ahead, we also, item number 2 is also a reappointment to the Plymouth Road Development Authority. This from OMAR FARIS. Council?
So moved.
All right, that's, what, would you like it on the consent agenda, Council Member Toy?
Certainly.
All
Thank you,
right.
Madam President. I believe
yeah.
Mr. Ferris is in attendance.
Oh, I'm sorry, he is.
Oh, good.
Hello, Mr. Ferris, and I should have gone to the audience. Okay, all right, let's see. Good evening, Mr. Ferris. Thank you.
Hello, good evening.
Do you have anything that you'd like to say?
I'm looking forward to serving again. I think we have a lot of good things in the works, and I would appreciate any recommendation to keep Plymouth Road beautiful and improve it as so.
All right, well, your reappointment is in place on the consent agenda for the April, I believe it's April 25th. I just had it right in front of me. I'm sorry, let me just double check. The April 27th meeting. So you do not need to return.
Okay.
All right, thank you, and thank you for your service, your continuing service and your willingness to keep serving, Mr. Ferris. All right, with that.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Have a good evening, Omar. With that, we will move along to item number 3, and this is a request to accept a U.S. Department of Justice 2019 Justice Assistant Grant, JAG, in conjunction with the Wayne County Department of Homeland Security. This comes to us from the Division of Police. This is to purchase law enforcement equipment with grant funds. And I do not believe that Chief Cade is with us this evening. He has a lot of things going on, and as does the leadership team. So council, what would you like to do with this?
Madam President,
Yes, Councilmember Jolly.
these are grants that the city has taken advantage of in the years past, and I think it's only to our benefit to continue to do so. I'll offer an approving for the consent agenda if there are no objections.
All right, does anyone object to placing this item, this acceptance of the U.S. JAG grant? All right, with that, we will place it on the consent agenda.
Thank you.
Moving along, item number 4 is a request to approve request to approve purchase of 2 Dominion voting ICC kit optical scan tabulators through the state of Michigan bid process. This comes to us from the Office of the City Clerk to streamline the processing of ballots from budgeted funds.
So moved.
All right. Would the clerk like to, Susie, do you have anything to add?
I do, Madam President. Thank you.
Okay.
As everyone's aware, we're in some uncertain times. And prior to all of the pandemic, we were looking at a lot of absentee ballots for this fall. So we had already purchased 4 absentee ballot scanners. And the plan and in the budget was to purchase 2 more this year. Fortunately, we have prepared this way because we are looking at an all absentee ballot election, possibly in August and then again in November. So Livonia is, even with 4, if we can't get the 2, I'll get to that in a second, we're looking at a pretty good position compared to some other communities that we already had this. It's going to be a daunting task that we have ahead of us. We have voter turnout of 2016 where 65,000 people vote. We have 65,000 absentee ballots. That's going to be a huge process. It's going to take a lot to do this that day. And the reason why I say if we can get it, the components that build these scanners and the software is built all over the world. So there's no guarantee even placing the order that we're going to be able to get it. But we are going to have our name on the list. We are already on the list as it is actually to get 2 more. And I'm really hoping that we are going to be fortunate enough to get them. Dominion can't guarantee right now, but we're doing everything we can so that we will have them.
All right, so I believe that, thank you very much, and thank you for being so proactive on this. And I think you mentioned that we're a little bit ahead of the game because we already have some of these scanners and other communities have none. I believe that Councilmember Toy has offered this approval, and Councilmember Toy, would you like that on consent agenda?
Yes, please.
All right, are there any objections? Then we will go ahead and place that on the consent agenda.
Madam President.
Yes, I'm sorry, Vice President Barr.
Yeah, sorry, I was on mute and didn't realize it. No objection, but just a question of clarification. So, Susie, did I understand? So we're getting 2 now, but you said potentially we'll be looking at 2 more later this year?
No, currently we have 4, and that's what we had been running with. And my plan was to order 2 for this year. So
Okay.
When I put together the budget for this year was to purchase 2 more. And those are the 2 that we're purchasing right now, and that's hopefully purchasing right now. That is we will have 6, which would mean 6 counting boards. If we have 60,000 plus people, that's over 10,000 ballots going through 1 counting board. Currently, right now, we like to keep it around 3,000 or 4,000 in a counting board. So this is going to be, it's going to be a long night, day. The predictions are possibly Thursday of finishing counting right now.
How many registered voters do we have in Livonia?
We just went over 78,000. I just looked at that number before the meeting started.
78,000 of our 95,000 people are registered voters?
That is, yes, that's an interesting number considering that would, that But if you look at our population, we do have an older population. We don't have as many school-age children. So you look at Canton, where their population might be higher than ours, but our voter registration is higher.
Okay, so again, I mean, you had budgeted these before we were looking at potentially a 100% AV election, but your position at this point is even if it's 100% AV, it might take a while, but it'll be with this equipment, no additional later.
No,
Okay,
there's no, I don't think we'd be able to get them, to be honest, even if we tried.
okay, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, Vice President Barr, are you comfortable with this continuing on the consent agenda?
Yes, I am. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Does anyone else? Any comments? Would anyone from the audience like to comment on this item? All right, seeing none, we will put that on the consent agenda for the next meeting. All right, item number 5 is a request to approve the Alliance of ROUGE Communities, also known as ARC, the annual assessment for 2020. This comes to us from the Public Service Division, the amount of $35,585 from budgeted funds. And I believe we have Mr. Moore with us this evening.
Can you hear me now?
We can hear you now, Mr. Moore.
Hallelujah. Good evening, Council. How are you all?
Good. How are you?
Good, thank you. The ARC, the Alliance of ROUGE Communities, Livonia is the largest member of the Alliance. It makes up almost all of the communities in the Rouge River watershed. The dues for this year reflect a 2% increase. The ARC instituted increases over the last several years to start trying to keep up with inflation and to honor our MS4 stormwater permit requirements. The ARC has taken over doing illicit discharge inspections for us. They're doing a lot of the public education items for us now, helping us increase our best management practices. So we are asking council to approve the dues for this year for $35,585.
Thank you, Mr. Moore. And when I thank Mr. Woroff for his work earlier, by the way, should also extend that thank you to you. I know you've been working very hard. You always work very hard, but during this COVID shutdown, a lot falls on the Public Service Division, including on you. So thank you for that. Council, any questions for Mr. Moore?
Madam President?
About the ARC assessment? Yes, Councilmember McCullough.
The ARC assessment, the ARC program is something from a sustainability standpoint that's a great program. I'd be happy to offer an approving resolution for consent. There's no objections.
All right, Councilmember McCullough has offered an approving resolution for consent. Any objections? Any concerns? Would anyone else from the audience like to comment on this item? Seeing none, we will place the dues on the consent approval of the dues for the ARC, the Alliance of ROUGE Communities, on the consent agenda for the meeting of Monday, April 27th.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Doug. Take care and stay safe.
Thank you. I've got the next one too.
Oh, yes, you do. So don't go anywhere. Request to approve annual renewal of software licensing and maintenance from sole source provider. This too comes from the Public Service Division with Azteca Systems LLC for the DPW work management system for the period March 1st, 2020 through February 28th, 2021. This includes CityWorks Online from budgeted funds. Again, Mr. Moore.
Yeah, Council, this is Azteca. It's actually our CityWorks management information system. When residents call in, the complaints go into CityWorks. We do our work orders through CityWorks. It's tied into the GIS program, tracks complaint calls, work and job orders, equipment, fuel. Our payroll goes into it, aids in budget development, was originally paid for as part of the SAW grant 2016. So we're asking council to renew the licensing agreement for the next year for $75,000. It's the amounts paid for out of the refuse and water and sewer funds.
Madam Chair,
Thank you, Council. Yes, Councilmember Donovan.
I'd like to offer an approving resolution on consent if there's no objection.
All right, council, does anyone have any objections? And would anybody from the audience like to comment on this?
Madam President,
Yes, Councilmember McCullough.
just a comment. The CityWorks program, just for our viewers at home, is an incredible tool that allows our staff to basically mark preventative maintenance, everything into this database. And it's very great user-friendly, and I know a lot of cities and municipalities are using it. And in fact, it helps with save funds, if I'm not mistaken, just with workload. So just letting everybody know what exactly we're approving here.
All right, thank you. That was very helpful, Mr. McCullough, Councilmember McCullough. All right, if there are no objections or no one from the audience has any comments, and we'll go ahead and place that on the consent agenda.
Thank you.
Thank you, Doug. I think with that, you're all set, right?
Yes, I am. Stay safe and healthy, everyone.
You too. Thanks so much please extend our thanks to the entire department. We know how hard everyone's working.
I will. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Item number 7 is the award of contract. This comes to us from the engineering division for the 2020 sidewalk replacement program. This is contract 20-G, and it's council resolution 84-20. Mr. Zelinson.
Good evening, Madam President, City Council members. Just wanted to bring you up to speed. As you know, we have an annual sidewalk program that helps prevent trip hazards out there in the city. This year, we had approximately 517 locations that went out for bids to get the best unit price to get those repairs completed. It was put on Mitten, and it was bids were obtained on March 17th, 2020, and there was 4 bidders. The lowest qualified bidder was Rotundo Construction Corp. in the amount of $625,710.25. The next bidder was actually $272,000 more, Great Lakes Contracting Solutions, and they went up from there on the remaining bids. We're asking for the City Council's approval to award the contract to Rotundo Construction Corp. in the amount of $625,710.25. In addition, we want to have Precision Cutting perform some of the areas where the city trees may have uprooted the sidewalks, but instead of replacing an expensive slag of sidewalk, we can get by having that area precision cut down to avoid that vertical separation. With that, I'd like to ask your approval, and if approved, we will look at going out to the residents on May 4th to send out the letters to these people that be impacted by the repairs, and we'll see orange dots painted on the sidewalk to delineate the areas of repair that will be coming in the summer. Be happy to answer any questions. Thank you.
Before we go to council, Todd, Rotundo has done a lot of work in the city, right? That company is very well known to us, right? And we're very familiar with I know that they were the low bidder and that's the criteria for selecting them, but they are also a well-known company to Livonia, right?
Correct, Madam President, good point. They've done numerous jobs for the city, and if you go through the city, you'll see a lot of their sidewalk flags stamped with different years in it. So they've been around quite a bit. They follow the specifications, especially at the handicap ramps. They do a phenomenal job, and we appreciate their bid. They actually lower this year than last year, so the residents will get a good price to get these repairs completed and make it safe for the community.
Good. And this one is especially, I mean, we always want to secure the low bid, but in this case, the cost is passed along to the residents, correct? That they are assessed for the sidewalk repairs in front of their homes. Is that correct?
Yeah, some people, do have the millage in place that covers some of the tree locations, but some may have stuff that's deteriorated that they're assessed for, and some may be the city's responsibility or a combination of both. But
Okay.
people receiving a letter explaining the program and the potential estimate on if they're assessed. So we look forward to getting those out and obviously giving the residents an opportunity, if they have any questions, to have inspector come out and go over that concern with them if they have any issues.
And appreciate the work that your department's been doing to get those. And I think you work with inspection on those letters to get those letters out on time so we can continue with the program. And to your point, homeowners receive the information they need on a timely basis. So thank you for the efforts to keep that going, get the letters out.
You're welcome.
Madam Chair?
Yes,
Madam Chair?
Member Toy.
I'd like to offer an approving because I think the Rotundo family uses Livonia cement. So I think that's why we're getting a lower cost as well
Okay.
than last year. That was a joke, by the way. I don't see anybody really smiling on. It looks like the match game on TV. It's really kind of cool. Some of you won't remember the match game, of
Yes,
course.
we do. Yes, we do. All right. Thank you, Councilmember Toy. Anyone in council have any comments or objections to putting it on, to put the sidewalk program on the consent agenda? And does anyone from the audience have any comments? Seeing none, we will go ahead and put that contract for the sidewalk replacement program awarded to Rotundo Construction on the consent agenda. Number 8 is also an award of contract. This comes to us from the engineering division for the 2020 lane line marking program, contract 20-H. Mr. Zelensik.
Thank you, Madam President. Again, we want to make sure the city is safe during the fall. We go out and paint the lines along the major roads and city streets that keep people visually safe when they drive that. The yellow line, skip white, skip yellows. So we had 2 bidders submit their bid back on March 10th. They were JV Contracting Inc. and PK Contracting. PK Contracting has done stuff in the past for us, along with JV Contracting. So we're asking for your approval to JV Contracting in the amount of $91,947.50 to go out in the summer/late fall to go out and get these areas restriped for the city to obviously upkeep the lane line markings that are out there. If you have any further questions, I'll be happy to answer those.
Thank you, Mr.
Madam Chair,
Yes, Councilmember White.
be happy to offer the approving resolution on consent, please.
Are there any comments by council?
Madam Chair, I have a quick question.
Yes, Councilmember Donovan.
Questions for Mr. Zelensik. The striping of lanes, is that just city roads, or is that all roads that are within the city?
It'd be just the
roads,
city.
excuse me, or?
Yeah. So just to follow up, it'd be just the city jurisdiction roads. We have approximately 370 miles, but all 370 miles does not have lane line markings. It's mostly on some of the major streets. The county will do their own streets. Typically, they'll come through, do 5 mile, 7 mile, those streets at a later date also, but maybe the same contractor or another contractor, but would only be the city jurisdiction roads that we have control over.
Thank you.
All right. Anyone from the audience wish to communicate with us on this? Seeing none, that is our last agenda item. We go back to the audience. If anyone would like to comment, address the council at the end of the meeting. And this is why I get myself in trouble. One other person I forgot to explicitly acknowledge, and now tonight I'll think of probably the 3 others, is Dave Varga, who's the Director of Administrative Services in the Mayor's Office. And Dave is the point guy on so many things and does a great job on the daily situation reports that keep us and our citizens involved, and just keeps juggles a lot to keep the communications going between the Mayor's Office and the city departments and the employees and the community. So thank you to him. And again, I think I said at the beginning, but thank you, LivoniaTV, for working tonight. You are an essential service for being there to make sure that we continue to make our meetings available to the public. And if we don't have any other comments, I believe that we can adjourn at 8:29. All right, we are adjourned. Thank you. Good night, Livonia. Thank you to my colleagues and LivoniaTV, and to all of our citizens. Stay well. And we can't wait until we can see you in person again, but I think we will see you again virtually on April 27th. So thanks. Thank you. Good night.